Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we take a look back at the hardship our region faced since the flooding and the stories that spread hope soon after the devastation. And communities in our region continue to wait on the return of running water as crews work to fix the damage intense winter weather left behind.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
6 o'clock here on this Thursday morning. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning to you. Well, some of y'all might be turning to some iced coffee this morning, Brandon, because there's some areas in the 50s this morning.
Yeah,
so.
it's a crazy range, and we've got several sensors out, but I have had reports from different areas there, and you'll see on this map here in just a couple of minutes. We've got a range from the 20s to the 50s.
I want to be where the 50s are.
Exactly. Got to go to Irvin over that way. But again, it is a wild range this morning, about almost 30 degrees between parts of the area. So let's go on over to our cameras first. Buffalo Mountain 45 at the Hazard Airport, which is the sensor we use there for Buffalo Mountain and in Hazard this morning. 45 up the road in Jackson. But down the road, down the parkway, 25 over at Manchester there. But you're going out to London, it's 34. So basically 3 spots right along the Hal Rogers Parkway, and 46 in Somerset. So riddle me that. I don't know. 27 Ashland, 28 Clintwood, 34 Wise, 25 Jonesville, 53 allegedly over in Lynch. A friend of mine messaged. It's crazy this morning. It's absolutely crazy. So again, coffee, a little extra because it's just crazy. And then, of course, if you're in a colder spot, you probably need a little bit more. I mean, like Dakota said, if you're in a warmer spot, maybe iced coffee. But a good donut is always a good treat to have as you head out the door this morning. And it's going to be a great day overall. We're going to see a few more clouds late. But temperatures will be in the 60s. We're just going to see how far into the 60s they get today. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. Well, Wednesday marked 5 months since the deadliest natural disaster to hit eastern Kentucky in more than 80 years. July's flash flooding and river flooding set records, claimed the lives of 44 people, damaged or destroyed thousands of homes, businesses, churches, and schools. It likely caused more than $1 billion in damage and left many homeless, and so many are still working to rebuild their lives. Well, this morning we look back at one of the darkest periods in eastern Kentucky's history and how light continues to prevail.
All right, just after 1 o'clock, and we're on the air and on Facebook. A lot of folks have been wanting these updates, and we've got a lot to talk about. So
on July 28th, 2022, WYMT's Brandon Robinson and Cameron Aaron were on the air for several hours, tracking the latest weather conditions and flooding reports across our region.
We'll just do what we can. We have literally talked about this all week long. We were hoping this wouldn't happen. We really were. We knew that this would be a potential historic flood. But you see the results. I mean, the video is the proof.
Our sister station, WYMT in Hazard.
Our First Alert weather team issued a dire warning as our parking lot filled with water, telling our viewers to stay indoors as flash flooding emergencies kept coming into our weather center.
Look at that water just pouring out of there. This is a house on a hill on Highland Avenue, the Turner house here, and look at that. Look at that raging water. And
it's still pouring.
Exactly. I mean, it's still pouring up there. So, I mean, it's just, this situation it's bad.
Overnight was a devastating time for this community. Literally, water seemed to be everywhere.
But it was not until daybreak when we saw the destruction of Mother Nature's wrath.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A tragic day in eastern Kentucky with at least 8 people killed in historic flash flooding.
Damage spread across our region, from Breathitt County to the Big Sandy. Families were rescued from rushing waters. In helicopters, the National Guard lifted people out of their homes, or for some, off the roof. Words cannot adequately describe what people saw and endured.
It's just, like I said, there's no words. It's just hard to imagine. There's nothing really that you can do, but, you know, we're just glad that we got out.
I went over next door to the big house because my mom's there and she's got Parkinson's, and we had to worry about getting her upstairs. But the water was coming over that bridge over there, and you can see all the debris broke through the fences.
As quickly as the floodwater rose,
we're homeless.
It went down nearly as fast.
This is the worst thing that's happened to me since my husband passed away 13 years ago. So I just feel kind of helpless.
But help was already here and more on the way to the mountains. Flood relief donation centers were set up across the region. Fellow Eastern Kentuckians held their own relief efforts along with churches.
It's unbelievable, from rescuing people out of their homes through the flood to seeing the need, seeing the people coming up here covered in mud. The only thing they own in the world is the muddy clothes on their back.
The next few days and weeks, families began mucking out their homes, gutting entire living spaces, hoping to once again make a house a home. The Sloan family in Knott County told us in late August they were used to flooding near their home, but never like we saw in July. The family's home was gutted because the water was nearly 4 inches inside their home.
God has blessed us tremendously with the people and the help that they put in our lives.
But as families began rebuilding,
This is a Mountain News special report. Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We're on the air to bring you coverage of Governor Beshear's remarks at his third stop of the day.
Come take me down. Yeah, I'm sorry.
State leaders were on the ground meeting with those families, hearing their needs, seeing what was left of their homes.
We just passed a house where there's a lady inside helping out whose house is totaled just down the block. It's just she already got all of her stuff out.
The Eastern Kentucky spirit was seen time and time again, neighbors helping neighbors.
This whole place, I had no idea I lived in a whole community of heroes, but we did know that Eastern Kentucky is full of amazing people, that it's an amazing place to live, and I promise that come hell or high water, it will be again.
It is the perseverance of those impacted by flooding that will take Eastern Kentucky to the finish line.
As, you know, heartbreaking as it was, what gave us hope was seeing Kentuckians helping other Kentuckians. And that it's the best of who we are. And the entire Commonwealth got to see it. The country got to see it. And that's why we are so committed to making sure that we stand with folks until this job is done.
Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News. Well, that story is part of our Year in Review special, which will debut tonight at 7 o'clock here on WYMT. Many households are without water here in our region due to frozen and burst pipes. In Harlan County, emergency management officials have turned several fire stations in the county into water distribution points. Harvey Heron with the Yoakum Creek Fire Department Station 1 he was helping to hand out water yesterday. He says the recent cold weather has made the problem worse.
We've had some bad weather, the cold weather, and that's took a big toll on it. That's one thing's happened, but every now and then you have these problems.
Well, Harlan County Judge Executive Dan Mosley says the areas currently most impacted are Clover Fork, Path Fork, and Putney. Well, Clay County is also on the growing list of counties in the mountains dealing with water issues following the recent cold snap. In a post on the Clay County Emergency Management Facebook page yesterday, officials said the city of Manchester is experiencing low water pressure in the Big Creek, Redbird, Sandhill, and Hector communities. Other areas in the southern part of the county are also reporting pressure issues. They are asking everyone to conserve water. Well, plumbers are swamped with calls right now as our region continues to face these problems. If you have frozen pipes, well, there's not much you can do until the pipes thaw out. Plumbers say you should keep the heat on and open cabinet doors to let the heat in.
If people keep their houses extra warm during these kind of situations and don't close off part of the house and keep doors open and cabinets open, most likely you will not have a problem.
As temperatures get warmer, water should eventually start to flow again. If you discover any leaks or cracks in the water pipes, shut off the water, then call a plumber.
All right, 6:09 here as we start our shorter weather segment. Let's see if UVAYs will cooperate with us. I believe it's going to for just a minute. 34 over there right now. It glitches on us sometimes, but you see a cool start to the morning over there. But we have a basically almost 30-degree temperature range out the door this morning, from 25 in Jonesville to 51 in Irvin this morning. So it is just all over the place. 30s, 40s, 50s, 20s. They're all over the region there. But the further west west you go, you see that warmer air building in ahead of that cold front. 59 in Springfield, Missouri, 58 in Memphis. But look at Myrtle Beach, 33 in Myrtle Beach this morning, 27 in Roanoke, 32 in our nation's capital, and 40 in the Big Apple. So 61's our official forecast for today. Again, it could get a little higher than that, especially with these southwest winds, but it's going to be a mild day regardless and sunny for most of it. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. When we come back here on Mountain News this morning, thousands of people remain stranded at airports across the U.S. as a major airline tries to recover after a system-wide meltdown. That's just ahead.